So Charlie, which stops will you be at?
Okay,
The
guys.
only one that
real
I'm
quick.
on right now is Lakewood, New Jersey.
Okay.
We found
Sweet.
Jason, everybody. Thank you for being with us. He was running over. He's just a little confused on the time.
Oh,
You know.
very confused.
So we're happy to have him on. This is the first that we've had Jason Q on, and the first that we've actually met him.
Which stops will you be at?
Oh, hold on. Let me pause that.
The only one that I'm on right now is Lakewood, New Jersey.
Okay. Hey, that's us.
We found Jason, everybody. Thank you for being with us. Just running over.
Do everything twice.
Oh, my.
We just did it.
Hold on a second. Hold on. Okay, we'll get things figured out here sooner or later. Okay, so let me give Jason a little intro. He's been providing, Jason Q, he's been providing diversity, quality, and passion in truth. The all-knowing in your face, Jason Q, he is going to be live with us today for probably the next hour or so. Jason has dedicated his life to researching and uncovering the real truth of this world. He's been featured on many podcasts and has been the main speaker at many events, including the Truth Tour. And he's actually going to be on the Truth Tour at every stop on Truth Tour 2, which starts in a couple of days. Jason will be sharing his knowledge today on pyramid power, how it was hijacked by the Cabal, how we can regain its power for good. And we're going to talk a lot about a lot of other things too, you know, the crystal sun, Russia, and different things like that. So why don't you take it away, Jason?
Yeah, it's nice to meet you guys, and nice to be here. And just want to thank everybody for being here. And and the funny thing is that because I was just on Spiritual Raw, how we always tend to like run over. It's just like, and I keep on getting mixed up with the time, Eastern Pacific, because I never, I don't travel, so it's like I'm used to Central. That's it. I just do everything Central. It's like, oh boy, how many time zones are there? I'm like, I think there's 4. And people are like, you know how many time zones are? I'm like, man,
it is confusing. Luckily, I saw
seem kind
one of my friends posted it on Facebook here, and I was like, oh, he has another event at 12:30. I wonder if he's just doing something real quick before our show, or if oh no, he's still on. So luckily, I text Lewis and I saw him come and talk to you, and you're like,
yeah.
Oh.
and it was funny because they came in yesterday because I was down on the counter highlighting everything. It's like, hey, we got your desk set up. They put a little desk in here. I'm like, this is awesome. I'm like, this is great. Like, you just don't stop working. I'm like, that's it. I mean, we're constantly learning, and because once you stop, it's like you can't. So,
And you do so much research on every subject. That's what Charlie was, when I told him about you and he started looking into you, he's like, boy, that guy knows a lot of stuff. And I said, yeah, a lot of stuff about everything. That's literally all he does is research,
Well, and the thing is, like, when we all went to school, and it's like, yeah, I mean, what did we really learn? Did we learn the truth?
No.
Or did we learn just what they wanted us to learn? Like once I found this W.C. Vetch book called Text. That's very influential, because when you realize that there were X textbooks that they gave us with just a little bit of truth, and then they had the real textbooks, which had all the truth. It's like, that's why they call them textbooks in school, and it's a complete fallacy. It's like, because they're not going to teach us everything.
Well, that's like physics. I hated physics class. I was always a math geek, a science geek, loved every subject except physics. It just didn't make any sense to me. And now I know why. Quantum physics, I love. That's a total another aspect. They should be teaching that stuff in school,
Well, if they taught that in school, then that would be giving us our power back.
That's right.
They can't have that. And that's the thing. It's all about suppression. It's all about keeping you at one level where you don't have any advancement, keeping you stagnant. And keeping us stagnant, that means you're not going to go forward. You're not getting your full potential. If we got our full potential, Charlie, isn't it? I mean, Well,
I mean, Jason, that's what the book that I wrote is all about. It's about the fact that sacred geometry is so fundamental to the creative process. Most of us don't ever even stop to think about, if we believe that our thoughts create our experience, how do we take that high frequency thought and transmute it, convert it, whatever you want to call it, into our physical experience? Well, as it turns out, sacred geometry is absolutely at the root of all of that. And there is a specific geometry, namely the geometry of this pyramid, which is the geometry that nature uses in 3 dimensions to scale everything from the subatomic to the galactic. So none of that is taught in our schools. And the reason is they, as you said, they don't want us to know how powerful we are. Once we know that our thinking creates our experience, our collective consciousness creates our experience, then we are back in the driver's seat in terms of the power. But without that information, we believe that we're just a random occurrence in the Big Bang Theory, which is, of course, has no scientific evidence to back it up to begin with. I'm sorry, I digress.
Oh, it's okay. I mean, and the theory, because we're all learning, and I mean, you're absolutely correct with that, because what we learned is that, because with math, like algebra and everything, that's like, okay, yeah, but they don't teach us like valuable tools. Like when you look at the schools now, when we were in school, did they teach anybody about credit cards? Did they teach any about balancing a checkbook? Nothing like that, because they want to keep you suppressed, because they want to keep you in debt. That's a part of that, the schools and the banks and everything that they're all in cahoots with one another.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And it's all about, when we were in school, it was all about taking that one test every year for the state that kept the money coming to the school, and that's it. It's like, why?
Yeah,
It's
I have
just,
a good friend that quit the school board because he felt helpless. That's all they focused on. There was nothing, no education going to the kids. It was all about passing that test so they could get funding. And now it's all about teaching them about perversions and sexuality and not even educating them,
and it's sad, because it's like, and that's why when in our childhood, I mean, absolutely, people can say about the childhood now, like being kids now, that's technology ruined everything for childhood. Because when you're a child, you have your creativity, your imagination, and that's what we built everything off of. That's what helped us with our out of the box thinking, because we know that there's more to this, that we can make this all manifest. It's just when we were kids, we just didn't, we're still, you have to crawl before you can walk. But then as soon as you learn how to crawl, then they just put you in crutches.
Yeah.
Because then it's like, nope, we don't want you doing anything further than that. It's like, no, here, get these crutches out of here. Let us start walking, then we'll start running, but we have to do it together collectively.
Well, just like when Lewis was on with us the other day, and he put it a good way, that the Cabal, are using us to manifest their reality because they can't do it. So that's why all the kids are connected to technology. That's why people can't think for themselves anymore, because they have been hijacked intentionally. We are powerful beings. I mean, that should prove it to you. People are using us for our energy in more ways than one.
And our energy is their currency.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we realized. And then they what do they do for us? They give us this fiat currency. They give you this fake money that they make you think that, oh, well, this is everything. It's like, well, but what do you give up? What do you sacrifice? You sacrifice your time. And the time is the only thing that we have in this third dimension. But what if that can be extended? What if, because time is just a 3-dimensional construct. Well, if it's just a construct, then, nobody knows what time it is, what day it is or anything, because they keep on messing with the calendars, the clocks. I mean, it's impossible. But what if we made that impossible possibility, just by realizing that that there are others out there like Charlie that write these books that have this knowledge, that we could actually gain this knowledge, and they could actually make us a better person and a better collective. And once you realize that you have a high potential and realize that we all have a high potential, then there's no hierarchy. It's like we're all one equal. And if we're all one equal, they do not want that, because the power, it all goes back to the people.
Right.
Yes. That is. We are one. We are in the collective together. We need to work together though, in order to make it function properly. Let's go back to, let's touch on a little bit of the sacred geometry. What is, and the Trumps real quick, Melania Trump specifically, and her connection to the obelisks and reactivating things like that. What are your thoughts on that?
Oh, when it comes to Melania, I mean, I firmly believe that she is an archetype of our true mother goddess. And that, because President Trump, he's way higher up in this than we realize. Way higher. I mean, the power that they have is just, and they show it every day, because when you see how they're doing everything, and it's like, well, I mean, it's making it's literally I mean, he's trolling them, but once you start, understanding how he's trying to talk to us, he's trying to talk, he's coding everything he talks to, because it's like, it's like we're going through a version of an education that he's giving us to teach us that, guys, it's not about the words, numbers and geometry and math. Math is the language of the universe, not English, not Latin. It's math, mathematics. It's all everything's all math.
Yeah.
And it's just sad, because everybody's like, I was bad at math. It's like, we were bad at math because they didn't teach us the correct math. It just it pretty much made like a, if we knew it instinctively, subconsciously, and they taught us a different way, well, that's why we were bad at it, because it threw up like a faulty, like a red flag. It's like, no, that's not it. But we don't realize it. We don't have that that depth of knowledge yet.
Right.
Yeah.
So we have to learn it, and learning it. And I mean, these past 5 years has been, with how much we've learned and how much we've advanced as a civilization. I mean, how
that's what I mean. Sacred geometry is it's foreign to so many people, but it's so big. It's so much bigger than we think. Even I remember a few years ago, I was really into crop circles, and I really felt at the time that crop circles were pretty much like a help me from the earth, from Mother Earth herself, resonating at a certain frequency and showing people, this is the symbol that's going to help wake you up, to help save me. I didn't really feel like they were created by aliens or anything, but now I revert back to even maybe their connection to pyramids. Charlie proves in his book too how sound and light travel kind of at the same the same geometry as our Russian pyramids. So if this is a megaphone, sitting on the earth, emitting different frequencies into the ground, they could be creating the crop circles as well, like cymatics.
That's right. All of the processes that we can visualize in our earthly experience seem to use this geometry for scaling. And as Lisa mentioned, you can take a tube or a pipe, put a glass sphere at the end of it, and then shine light through the end of it. And the light is going to refract at this exact 76,345 degrees. We can't see sound, but we can measure the geometry of a megaphone, which we know will amplify that sound. And we find the exact same 76,345 again. We find it in technology and so forth. I'm shocked that all of our spaceships, aircraft, missiles, jet airplanes, that all of the nose cones all have this. Aquatic animals like porpoises and dolphins and so forth, their snouts, alligators, crocodiles, they all have this geometry. So it's there, and yet we don't know about it. And that's because it's been suppressed and kept out of our knowledge for at least 100 years. Going along with that is the loss of the concept of the ether. That was taken out at about the same time. There were so many things that occurred around the beginning of the 20th century. We had the loss of the ether. We had the loss of this knowledge of this geometry in our religious Western Christian architecture, and so forth. So there's obviously, plans afoot that have been carried out meticulously, and these had to have been coordinated by the powers that be globally to do that. We haven't even touched on the Tartarian Empire either. For the Tartarian Empire, they use this geometry for collecting the free energy, and that knowledge, I mean, that has literally been written out of our history books around the world. That was one of the most concerted efforts at deception that I've ever seen in history. We don't even know that Tartaria existed, except through old maps and so forth, and the wonderful research that's being done by YouTube researchers in a number of different fields in that area. So enough said.
Well, and also, also you mentioned like of the Tartarians, and we look at some of the cathedrals, the cathodes that are built even across America, right? So this is how they get us with our language, right? So when they started moving out west, right, towards like Salt Lake City, San Francisco, and everything like that, and
Right.
they had all these cathodes, these cathedrals that were up, right? Because when you look at and you see that like these towns and cities, they were founded. They're founded. It's like, okay, what's the difference between a city being built and a city being founded? It's like one you constructed, the other one, it was there already. Who put it there? Who built these cathedrals? But what do they say? It's a Gothic. It's Gothic. It's Gothic.
Right.
So they put a negative connotation to it. It's like, what if it's not Gothic? Because the Tartarians, I mean, their architecture and it's bar none. But why can't we build anything like that now with our technology?
Well.
It's like they could do Washington, the whole Mount Rushmore, but they can't finish Crazy Horse.
Right.
Why not?
Right.
Because they want to say that, oh, Mount Rushmore was built by a couple of guys hanging off a swing. It's like, you've got to be kidding. It's like, and that's what they made us believe.
That's right.
You know, what if the Tartarians built that too?
Yeah. Well,
What if the Tartarians are here with us and we just don't realize it? I think they are.
To speak to the Mormon temple in Salt Lake City, one of the key things that proves that it pre-existed the arrival of the Mormons in Salt Lake City is the fact that the bottom floor of that temple is barely exposed. You'll see on the bottom level just that kind of like some semicircular windows that show up right at ground level. Well, they've been excavating and renovating that cathedral or temple for quite some time, not only recently, but also about 40 years ago. And when you look at the photographs, there's a whole floor of this building that once they've excavated away and tried to reinforce the footings and so forth, you could see that there was a whole floor of this building that was covered up by mud flood or whatever you want to call it. And that as a result, that building had to have predated the arrival of the Mormons in Salt Lake. So yeah, it's just a classic example.
Yeah.
But it has this geometry and was obviously a pre-existing building. So
Exactly. And we've had many mud floods here. And the last one that we've had, I firmly believe, was the Reconstruction era. Because when you think Reconstruction, it's like, well, because it just didn't sound right when they were saying, we're digging out of a mud flood. It's like in the 1860s and 1870s, it's like right there. And then they had the Organic Act of 1971. It's like, you know, it's like bringing a new, it's like, that's why they've kept on, they wrote this history for us that it's like, well, whose story is it? It's his story. Well, it's like, we don't want a story. We want the truth.
yeah.
It's like, we're big boys and girls. There's mud floods. Okay. But even at the end of the 1800s, there was an influx of orphans.
Yes.
It's like, well, where are the parents? It's like, guys, in this whole, they talk about slavery and everything. It's like, it was all the kids working in these shops. Like, well, where are the adults? Or another thing, Charlie, is that you'll hear them say this all the time. The Western Hemisphere. They have not once said the Eastern Hemisphere. And I'd like to know why. Where is the Eastern Hemisphere? Because a hemisphere is only a half of a circle, which would be a flat plane with a dome, like a firmament. So if it's as above, so below, what's that as above, so below? It's as above, so aside. So it's a mirrored image.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what, you know, with their, it's almost like their verbiage is catching up to them.
Right.
Because you're starting to realize that it's like there's multiple meanings. And that's why with math, 5 is always going to be 5. 5 is going to be 87 if it feels like it today. It's not Common Core.
Right.
You know, and especially Common Core, it's like they let a guy that was just a computer hack, you know, pretty much take over all the kids. And he literally, you know, with the pharmaceuticals, with the schools, it's like you literally let somebody that their father ran Planned Parenthood pretty much screw all the kids up.
Right.
Yeah. And that's the thing. The world is starving for true healing right now. And everybody is sick in one way or another. And that's what really drew me to find different ways for natural healing, like the pyramid energy here.
Sure.
Because just the experience, the experiments from the Russian scientists, they've proven so many amazing things. We've touched on this one numerous times with the babies. There was a group of babies that were so premature, everyone was expected to die. I think there were 20 babies, and they injected pyramid water that was charging inside the pyramid into their IVs, and every one of them lived. Like, profound experiences. But people are so programmed to not believe it. It can't be that simple. Healing can't be that simple. It can't be true,
Right.
But I had past life regression. I know you guys were just talking about this.
Yeah.
Spiritually raw, but I had one, and I was a man. I looked down, I was carrying a baby, and I remember the practitioner said, "Where are you going?" And I looked ahead and I could see the Pyramid of Giza. And I said, "I'm taking the baby to the crystal temple underneath the pyramid for it to heal it."
Yeah.
And once I got to the door, I popped out of that, and I don't remember anything from that point, but she had a similar experience with another person just a couple weeks before that. So we know there's a powerful connection to the pyramids for healing. And it was kind of scary a couple years ago when the Cabal and all this stuff started coming out. And it was kind of looked to me for a while that they were demonizing these types of tools like the Giza pyramid and stuff, because the Cabal has hijacked them for their powers, for their evil doings, So can you talk about a little bit about that, what they've been using them for? And
the funny thing is that if you notice, they tried to hijack it and use it for their own good, their own good, theirs. But there's something missing here, is that what if the white hats, like all throughout time, the pyramids cannot be activated unless there's a capstone. The capstones are taken off the pyramids of Giza. Why? Because they do not want them, the Cabal, the evil powers, to have that power, to harness that power. It's like, once we as a civilization build ourselves up to actually coming to the common understanding that we're not alone here, that there are many other, terrestrials here, many, like they say, extraterrestrials, extra terras, extra lands, and that we all have to live harmoniously with them. Because as humans, they've taught us to, shoot first, ask questions later.
Yeah.
It's like, we're never the ones that actually sit here and find peace and understand that we can be peacefully with others, no matter what they look like. Because look at us. You have people hating others just because of their skin color.
Yeah.
How, and I've always used that. How are you going to feel if there's like an 8-foot praying mantis looking entity coming up your driveway, but they have the power to heal your entire family?
Yeah.
What are you going to do about that? Are you going to come in peace, or are you just going to shoot them and say, "Oh yeah, we got rid of that"? It's like,
yeah,
but they came in peace. It's like, what did you do?
Yeah.
It's like,
and
yep, it all comes back to us. We have to realize that our ego, that it's like, oh, human beings, oh yeah, we did all this. Like, no, we didn't. We didn't do any of this.
No. Yeah. We are so minimal, I think, in what's going on. We are powerful, that's for sure, but we're not powerful till everybody wakes up to that fact, and just
even down to the creation story, they think that, oh, they just created humans. Like,
no,
guys,
the Hopi people talk about how during the Great Flood, the ant people came up and saved them and took them into the tunnels. They don't make that stuff up and draw carvings on rocks that probably taken their whole entire life to do for no reason,
And I wonder where all that truth is. Grand Canyon.
Yeah.
I'll bet you the Grand Canyon, there's places in the Grand Canyon that have pyramids,
That's
but
right.
nobody can go to. Why?
Yeah.
It's like, why are there obelisks in America? Cleopatra's Needle is right in Central Park. Why is it there?
Right.
But yet they say this is America. It's like, I don't think so.
Yeah.
I think this whole thing has just been one big lie. Just like we say flat Earth. It's like, what if this isn't Earth? This is just a Terra, and Earth is much larger. And then you have Gaia. It's all about the realms. It's all about levels.
That's right.
It's all about coming to common understanding that we're not alone. We're here to help one another, and that there are other entities out there, other Terrans, that actually that actually helped create us. They actually helped create our vehicle. But there's one thing that the vehicle needed was the spirit, the soul, and the ether. And that came from our prime creator. So we all did come from the prime creator, from the all, that the all created everything. Mm-hmm. So how can we actually, like, when people are saying, oh, they're racist, it's like, there's only the human race that we know of right now. Right. So how can we be racist? That means that we hate our own kind.
Yeah.
And we're all built the same.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So true. So true. There's it's crazy. It's crazy.
It is. But now we're waking up. And like President Trump said, they've awoken the sleeping giant. It's like,
well, that's right.
It's like, remember the giants, Charlie, that he had around him? Like around Air Force One and all that's like, you don't think they're the Tartarians?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
So
he knows.
So, yes. So I went to the island of Sardinia about 4 years ago. I went over there to learn about pulsed electrical magnetic therapy and stuff. They've been using it for healing for a long time. But at the island of Sardinia, it's right above Sicily, they have what they call the tombs of the giants. And so I was watching a couple of different things and doing some research before I went over there because I really wanted to see them. Well, they had 2 archaeologists that came and spoke to us before they took us on a tour. And they were saying that these are not, these are giant tombs, but they're not tombs for giant people, that they just call them tombs of the giants because they're so large. And, I said, well, haven't bones been found all over the island? No. Like there's literally a lot of the native people there have pictures of themselves with a femur bone that's up to their shoulder. They find them in their fields all over the place, but there's such all over the world. So much stuff has been hidden from us. The Smithsonian swoops in and confiscates everything. And, we should all storm the Smithsonian. I bet we could find a lot of proof,
We should. Because the thing is, they say dinosaurs. Like, guys, those are dinosaurs. Mm-hmm. It's like, when we look at this, it's like Vietnam. Why are we in Vietnam? We were in Vietnam, but heard the Vietnamese people. Because Cambodia and Laos, they were finding all those giant skulls. And they're like, hey, look what we found. And they're like, oh, we got to bomb them because we can't let everybody know about the giants. I mean, how any publication before 1900, they had them in the newspaper all the time about finding giant bones, giant skulls. And what do they say now? Oh, that's Photoshop. Yeah, that's Occam's razor, Photoshop. And then they look another way. It's like,
I've got 50 of those photos in my files right now, Jason, with people from the beginning of the 20th century, posing with giants.
Yeah. The size of those skeletons, I mean, it's massive. And why couldn't there be? Because it's like the more they've taken from us, the smaller we become.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. Well, one thing I wanted to follow up on your comments on Sardinia, Lisa, it's in the book. One of the most important things that I discovered, in addition to the Buddhist and Hindu temples and Christian cathedrals and all that, were all these ancient conical structures. On the island of Sardinia, there are about 20,000 objects called nuragis, which are conical structures with this exact same geometry. And as Lisa said, there's a lot of giants there and tombs and so forth. The energy field that Lisa experienced there was the highest that she's ever experienced. The island itself is a...
Oh, did we lose them?
Oh. He's probably getting ready to say something very important.
I know.
It's like, damn it.
Well, just to follow up until he comes back, his service is bad right now. They keep messing with his service over there.
Oh, I can see why. I mean, got a lot of it.
But it is amazing. So that the island of Sardinia, if I ever have the chance to go back, I definitely will. But literally, it's a small island like the size of Sicily. 20,000 of these nuragi, they're stone towers that are range in size from 20 feet to higher. Most of them are still filled in with debris and dirt that haven't been excavated. I think they've only excavated like 400, 700, something like that. But every one of these towers is connected with a 3-foot stone wall. Every one of them. It's crazy. But one of the towers, people report that on a certain day of the year, and I can't remember what day of the year it is. I'm sure it's like one where it aligns with the sun or something. But when you go inside of it and take a picture, your picture turns out like an X-ray. Like,
wow.
yeah. So there's so much energy.
And that's close to Malta, isn't it?
I'm not sure.
Because I know Malta's over there, and because when we have Italy and everything like that, you have the Vatican, and it's like it's right there. So it's like it's within reach for them. It's like they know that there's nobody going over there, and they probably have like a lot of the excavations and all that like controlled and suppressed because there's probably a lot more truth there. And they're like, oh, you're only allowed to go on these tours, and that's it. You can only say this and that. It's like Tomb of the Giants. Like, well, why would you say Tomb of the Giants and just have these big coffins with little people in it?
And there's these stone artifacts and stuff that they find. They look like aliens, kind of. They're really tall, skinny, have bigger heads, and have huge eyes. They call them the Shining Ones, and a lot of people refer them back to the city of Atlantis as well.
It's just it's so much bigger than we realize. That's the beauty. That's a beauty part about this, is that once we really know, because we're looking for truth, right? So we're thinking like our everyday truth, but nobody's looking. We're looking micro. Once we start looking macro, we're like, this is. And I think that's what's going to actually boost us up on that Kardashev scale. Because I mean, right now we're so low on the Kardashev scale, on the civilization scale, that we need to advance. It's our time to advance. It's either, hey, you guys are gone, we eliminate it and we start over, or we have an advancement. Like the Mayans. I mean, look at what they did down in Central America. The Mayans, the Incans, and everything was all pyramidical.
Yeah.
And it's just insane how they did it. And then all of a sudden they're like, poof, they're gone. I'm like, you think that they just poof and left and just said, we don't want this here, and they just went away? No. No, they advanced. They moved up.
Yeah, where are all their grave? Where are all their bodies? Where are all their skeletons?
Yep.
Sure.
And they got to go with their vehicles, and that's it. And they were so spiritual, but the spirituality they've taken away from us, and they replaced it with a religion.
That's right.
And it's all about division
Totally
and everything,
different.
and you just fight about it. It's like, if people knew about spirituality, that guess what? We're all one. Well, then you wouldn't need religion.
That's right.
Because everybody's religion, it's like they think that one's better than the other. It's like, if we're all created from the same creator, then how can we actually, then the rest of it is just, it's all stupid.
Somebody just said that was the ending of season 4 of Westworld, what Jason just said.
I've never even seen that show, and that's
really
the truth in all these shows.
I really resonate with Westworld. I really think that's probably what's going on. I really think we're already all transhuman and we're linked up to this, and it's just a big video game for them. So
yeah, and that's it. This is one big hologram simulation for us.
Yep.
And with the whole with us being created, people think that, oh, okay, God created us and they had Adam and Eve, and it's like, so what you're saying is that it's all created by two people. And yet when you look at the Egyptians and you look at the even the royal families and all that, and with the incest and everything like that, and just the abnormalities and deformities, it's like, but yeah, we don't have deformities, but we're all created by two people. It's like, no, we need to go further than that. That's why when we look through the Enuma Elish, the Babylonian epic of creation, and that we were all created out of clay. We were created, and we're genetic creations from much higher civilizations that were created to become slaves.
Yeah. Why don't you touch on Thoth? You were mentioning him in one of the shows I was watching the other day. I've always been drawn to the Emerald Tablets and to Thoth and his teachings. Touch on that for a little bit.
And I think because Thoth he was over 8 feet tall, and with the Emerald Tablets, when you read the Emerald Tablets, I mean, there's so much to it, and you realize, because they sit here and say, oh, well, 10 Commandments, everything happened 2,000 years ago. It's like, so we have all of this in a matter of 2,000 years. It's like, no. It's like, what happened pre that? It's like, even down to the dates, they say, oh, this happened in 5,000 BC. It's like, okay, so let me get this straight. So when they were counting on their calendar, they want to count, they're inclusive counting everything. So what, they just count from 5,000 and they're just counting upward to 0. And then what, that was it? And then it goes 1, 2, 3, 4. It's like, why would they do that? It's just, it makes no sense. And that's why they lied to us about, but they call it mythology. It's a myth.
Yeah.
It's a myth. It's like,
Yeah.
I mean, just by looking at in Greece, at all of the, all the architecture, it's like, guys, look at Rome, all the architecture, but then look at DC. It's the same architecture.
Yeah.
Who built everything in DC? When you look at the Supreme Court, it looks like it was carved out of one piece of stone.
Yeah.
We couldn't do that now if we tried. But then you gave a bunch of guys hammers and chisels and they did it. It's like,
yeah,
you'd still be there.
Yeah.
It's
I would love to see the architecture underneath that architecture. We're mainly, there's buildings on top of buildings, cities on top of cities.
Buildings, yes.
I would be dangerous with an excavator. I would.
Oh, and the thing is, I mean, how far down would you have to go?
Mhm.
I mean, we've only drilled down, was it 8 miles? That's it.
Yeah.
But then yet in science books, they have, here's the mantle, here's the core. It's like,
Yeah, we don't know.
no, there's nothing in there. That's it.
Yeah.
But what they've done is that when you look at that, like they have the core and then it's wheels within wheels, right? So when they say like, trust the plan, when you see that drawing, when you're looking at the earth and everything, and they have like the core, the mantle and everything like that, you're looking at a plan view of a 3-dimensional drawing. And that's all it is. It's all about mapping. So when you look at that, it's like, maybe that is what they're saying Earth is, but we live in the core. And then you have a wall, which is Antarctica. Then you have another, 33 other continents outside of that. Then you have another wall, and then you have more continents. Like there's more worlds within worlds, but they keep us locked in one. Because without us being locked in here, they have no power. That's why we have to reclaim our power.
Yeah.
And the pyramids are a huge part of that too. I mean, Tesla, Tesla, Marconi. I mean, when they come back, they're going to be like, hey, here's what we meant.
Yeah.
Because they're all in Venezuela right now. So it's like, because they're creating all of our technology for our golden age.
Wow.
Nice. Very cool.
Because I mean, if we think that we're going to get it from a bunch of extraterrestrials that, it's like they're just going to dump this on. It's like, there's no way in hell we could do that with all the linguistic barriers and everything. How would you know what shapes and this and that? We would never figure it out. We would just look at it and say, okay, it's a relic. And it's like, well, a relic. It's like, they're more, and with our ego, we have to realize that the more we've advanced as a civilization per se, the more dumb we become.
And
it's like,
but it's intentional.
It's a complete oxymoron. It's like, they led to us telling us that, it's like, they showed us all these pictures of like the Oregon Trail and this and that. It's like, well, how do they build everything out west then? Or even east? It's like, everything was here already. It's all founded. Cities are founded. It's like,
I remember years ago when I first started learning about the flat earth, I still didn't fully believe it yet because I didn't look into it much, but I remember mentioning it to one of my customers that, I'm hearing that the earth could be flat. And she was always interested and intrigued by what I was learning and stuff, and always found something to get out of it. But I remember after I told her that, she's like, well, you might not want to tell anybody that.
Well,
they're going to think that you're pretty crazy.
It was in our public school curriculum up until about 1920, 1930. So we have to question, why was it taken out?
Yes.
It was done on purpose. So
that's what I mean. There's so many logical things, but people just don't take the time, and a lot of them don't have the time. And that is intentional as well. They want to work us to death to keep us so we can stay afloat. That's the only reason that we work to death, but they're doing that intentionally. So we don't have time to step aside and look into these types of things.
Yep. They keep us busy. So we don't learn the truth.
That's right. That's exactly.
Yeah.
And it's a shame, because if we truly wanted to learn our true, our true origins, I mean, even up to 1950, they had flat Earth in encyclopedias.
Right.
It's like, what happened right around then?
Yeah.
It's easy. I mean, we were infiltrated by the OSS, the Office of Strategic Services, which turned into the CIA, which that's not the CIA. The CIA, the real CIA, is in Switzerland/France. It's 19,500 feet underwater on the border of France and Switzerland in Lake Geneva. And that's why everything goes through Switzerland.
Yeah.
Everything's all about Switzerland. It's like the CIA, that's where Alice is. That's where CERN is. CERN actually holds Alice, which is the motherboard of the earth, which is the internet. But there's one country that isn't connected to Alice and the internet.
Russia.
They have their own, which is Russia.
Yeah.
That's why they had everybody go to Russia. That's why I had Snowden go to Russia. That's why I had like Seth Rich and all them. They're all in Russia. Why? Because in Russia, for a whole Jacera to get all the countries on, on track with all the whole quantum banking system, they had to do something so they couldn't be seen. Any other country outside of Russia, they're already all over.
Sure.
You go to Russia, everything's hidden. They had everything done there so that if it's a shotgun start, then everything flips like a switch. That's why they're always dogging Russians. They want Russia. And that's why they'll say, oh, Russia attacked Ukraine. It's all Russia's fault. And everybody's like, oh, pray for Ukraine. It's like, Ukraine's what's keeping us down, guys.
Yeah. Well, I know when, we focus on the Russian geometry pyramid and the studies from Russia, the Russian government specifically. And there was a point when Charlie and I were trying to debate on whether we should take the word Russia out of it because Russia was being demonized so much. Yeah. And we felt the need to not do that because they're the ones that's discovering this technology. They're the ones who are more advanced than us. We need to learn from them, and they are being demonized for a reason.
Russia's the only country that has actually respected our republic since conception. They helped us out during the Civil War by notifying President Lincoln about the English and the French getting ready to take us over, because the English and the French started the Civil War. They started the Civil War between the North and the South to have us fight one another. And then England was going to come through Canada and France was going to come through Mexico, and they were going to take us over. And with the banking system, and that's when Russia said, hey, we're just letting you know. That's why Lincoln put up a blockade and said, no, we're not doing that. Then what happened? They had Lincoln killed, and because he was like, well, we print up his own greenbacks. Like, look, we're going to have our own economy. Look throughout history, what they've done to people that wanted to start their own economy. Take Gaddafi. Oh, Gaddafi's a terrorist. It's like, no, he wasn't. He wanted what's best for his country. That's it. Yeah. He wanted what's best for his country.
Yeah.
So he had all the gold. He was going to use the gold, his own gold, to come up with his own economy in all of Northern Africa. And what do? They killed them.
Yep. Just
like Saddam. Just like they keep on telling us that these people are terrorists. They're only terrorists because they want what's best for their people. What's wrong with having what's best for their people? Because it's not what's best for their evil collective. Because they want us to advance. Mm-hmm. It's like, why did they even go through Iraq in the first place? Weapons of mass destruction. It was all the scrolls underneath the Baghdad Museum, all the ancient technologies.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they went for.
Yeah,
because we were a lot smarter way back then.
The ancient libraries. That's what the first thing they went for too. All the ancient knowledge. That's what they've been fighting for.
You alluded to this, Jason, but Russia they specifically sent fleets of warships to both New York Harbor and San Francisco Harbor during the Civil War to keep England, France, and other European nations from meddling in the Civil War. So they were actually our biggest benefactor in terms of holding the Union together during the Civil War, and yet we're vilifying them ever since.
Yeah.
So
and there's a secret. It's called the Secret Treaty of Verona, and there were two of them. There's one in 1213, and that was between King John and the Pope, where King John of England made the Pope the Vicar of Christ, which you had a man make another man God on earth. Then the Pope turned around and gave the King John all control of all the dominions. That's where you get the British Commonwealth from. Then they had another one on November 22nd, 1822, and this was all in Europe, with the Holy Alliance, of course, the Vatican, and then you had France, and it was between the Holy Alliance and France, but they had all these like Austria, they had like Prussia, and what they want to do, they had to keep this perpetual motion of war between Spain and Portugal to keep this going, and they kept on paying France for it. But then they had seven parts to it, where it's like a monarchical government and a Republican government can't coexist.
Right.
It's like because you have a power of the few and the power of everyone, the power
Right.
of the masses.
Mhm.
But then you also have they're going after our press, freedom of press, when they're saying the freedom of press is the worst thing that could happen to a monarchical government, and they said do whatever you can to suppress it. I mean, they actually let this out, and it ended up being in the Monroe Doctrine. So once you see the 7 parts, it's like, oh, you have to thank the Pope for everything he's done for us. The Pope hasn't done anything for us.
Mhm.
Who runs the Holy Roman Empire? Who runs the Vatican? And people are like, oh, it's God. It's like, which God?
Yeah.
It's like, which realm are we in?
Exactly.
It's like-
Maybe
and
the
like,
one
oh,
that the serpent eyes are made out of.
Yeah.
There's all types of things there.
I mean,
When
look-
I went to
look-
Italy,
Oh,
I never even was drawn to go there. I instantly felt, when I was in Rome, I instantly felt a darkness. And at first, I thought it was just all the deaths from the Catholics that they had killed, the Christians they had killed. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But then I realized, I went and read the obelisk in the center, and it was designated to the sun. And then I just started connecting different dots and stuff and learning more and more about all this stuff. And
Yeah.
there's so much darkness there. But, I was never pulled to go to the Vatican and take a tour. And there was a reason behind
Oh.
that. I mean, it's one of the most evil places in the world,
yes.
you know?
The symbolism alone at the Vatican with the assembly hall, St. Peter's assembly hall, it's a serpent's head. And
Yep.
it's like St. Peter's chair, Peter's chair. It's like a big black throne. It's like, who would
Yes.
sit in that chair? It's like, what about the 50-foot doors? Why do you need 50-foot doors? I mean, what's going on? And the walls, they kept everything, and especially what's in the libraries. We think about the Library of Alexandria and how they burned it down. But what happened to it? What happened to all that knowledge?
Yeah.
I mean, can you imagine how much better of a civilization we could be
Oh, I know.
with having the true knowledge? Oh,
Sure. Sure.
it's mind numbing.
Yeah, it is. Wow.
Oh, go ahead, Charlie.
I was just going to say, before we finish up here, I wanted to change direction just a little bit with you, Jason. You're
Yep.
making a major commitment. You're speaking, as I understand it, at every one of the Truth Tour 2 stops. Is that correct?
That's correct.
So could you give our audience just a little bit of a summary of the types of information that you're going to be discussing? That might be an overload, but try to keep.
the thing is, every day, because people have asked, well, what are you going to talk about today? I'm like, I don't know, whatever comes up. We have so much information that, it's almost as if you feed off the energy in the room, and you just go, you pretty much go where your heart and your mind takes you.
Yeah.
And that's the only way to actually let everyone know that it's like, look, you're being true to yourself. And once you're true to yourself, you're being true to others. So
Right.
it's almost as if I went up there with cue cards and everything like that. It would not be me at all. You have to, it's like, we have it. It's like, it. You don't need anything in front of you, because once you've gone through documentation and everything, it's all about repetition, but about the learning that you're always learning. Like every day I have to learn something different, because it's a day wasted. I even brought a bunch of papers with me. Highlighting today. It's like,
Right.
do you take a break? It's like, you can't take a break in this. It's just, and there are other people that, they get burned out and all that, and that's fine. But for me, I'm just like, because it's so exciting, because
Yeah.
it is.
It's
And it's like
interesting.
when
I
you
keep
guys took
saying
the,
to that to people all the time. I'm like, I always thought the world was kind of boring and dull. We were doing the same thing over and over every day. And I
yeah,
said, even though it's a little more, a lot of the truth and stuff is coming out now, it kind of scares a lot of people, but it's
yeah,
exciting to me. It's exciting to know the truth, and people like us who are spreading the truth and sharing what we're finding. Maybe it does conflict with what somebody else is saying, but the only way we're going to discover the real truth is by gathering all that information, and as adults, figuring out
yeah,
what the real truth is through our experiences. So
yeah. And one person could say one thing, one person could say another, but it's like, but you have the documentation to back it up.
Right.
And that's why they told us to archive everything offline, because we're really going to need the paperwork on this. It's like, hey, show the receipts. It's like, okay, here you go.
yeah,
And that's why people are like, oh, you have, it's like, look, this is all of ours. Every bit of it's over 810,000 pages, but it's all of ours. It's humanity's. And there's gonna be a lot more because everybody gets to add theirs. And this is our story, not his story, our story. And our story is the truth. And that's all we wanted,
yeah.
because it's for the advancement of all.
Somebody just commented, Jason, and said, I've learned more from this fine young man than I've learned my past 65 years. Thank you, the son I always wanted, Jason Q.
I love it.
And it's
I love it.
and it's and it's so, I mean, because the one thing is that we have to put humor into it.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, I mean, it's all doom and gloom.
Yeah, it is.
And I just, you have to be lighthearted about things and know that it's like, guys, it's, yeah, is it serious? Yeah, but when you put all seriousness in it, it strikes a fear amongst many, and you don't want people to be afraid. It's like people are like, well, what's going to happen? It's like, hey,
Yeah.
I don't know. And people are like, well, aren't you? It's like, no. Why would I even let fear sneak in? It's like, once you have knowledge and once you're advancing, well, fear just kind of goes away.
Yeah.
Because like they need to be afraid that we know.
Yeah.
And
you know
that's
what?
the thing,
One of the most powerful things that made me not fear anymore, because everyone resonates with fear. They're scared of death for the first. They don't know what to expect, and we're told not to talk about it for a reason, because they want us to be scared. But once I got my first reading from a medium, that really opened it up for me. It proved to me there was no death. My loved ones came through. It proved to me that our loved ones in spirit are with us all the time, and they're happy and healthy where they're at. And it proved to me that there's something bigger to this world. And that's what I really needed to eliminate the fear. I used to be scared of the dark before that. And now I feel like there's just a team of spirits surrounding me, protecting me at all times. And they are there to protect everybody. They're just waiting for us to call upon them. And we know we touched about this with Lewis the other day. It's a spiritual war we're in right now. Call upon your spirits to help you in this spiritual war. They're all wielding swords, waiting to join this fight,
And we're waiting to join them, and they're waiting to join us, and we're all waiting to just all become one again. Because remember, we're all energy. You cannot kill energy.
No.
So people that are afraid of death, it's like death is just another form of life. That's all it is.
Yep.
But they keep on telling you, go to the light, go to the light, go to the light. But it's like when you look at the symbolism and all this, it's like, okay, what would the light be? What if the light actually is the delivery room? And there's your birthing canal. So when you come out, you're crying because guess what? You're back at it again. It's all cyclical. Here we go. And you're just crying because you don't know what's going on. Then it's like they put you in your mother's arms, and then they're like, you're like, okay, well, and then you feel that bond. But what happens right before that? They give the scissors to the dad. They're like, here you go. Cut the umbilical cord. It's like you're cutting yourself out of your child's life, because the placenta and everything, it's like you're abandoning ship. You're abandoning your child. That's when the whole C'est la vie trust of 1666 comes in. That it's awesome, that French word, but it's like people are like, that's not how you say it. It's like, well, I'm not French. I'm not Italian. I don't know. It's just like, why do we have to have that anyways? It's like 1666, cute number, right?
Right.
It's like, guys, we've all done this numerous times before. Don't think this is your first time living here. We've all done this like past life regression. Well, if you have past life regression, what have you had? You had past lives. So it's like, guys, we've done this over and over. So there's nothing to fear, because everyone's like, oh my God, my loved ones, you're going to die. It's like, who's to say that it's a bad thing?
Yeah. Yeah,
Nobody,
exactly.
it's
You know
an
what? That's,
advancement.
I have a lot of friends who are mediums, and that's what they say is when they connect with spirit, the spirit says that we're the dead ones, that they're more
Yeah.
alive than they ever thought they could be.
Sure.
Yep.
And it really
then they-
proves now, you know, that that could be true.
Yeah.
They have us anchored into this three-dimensional matrix where it's like we need to be broke free. But that's why when we ascend, we get to take our vehicle with.
Mhm.
You know, it's like that's why we're still wanting to take care of our bodies and everything. But like we were talking about spiritual law, there's so many people that go out and buy cars and everything. They take better care of their cars than do their bodies. It's like
Mhm.
it's all about the materialistic.
Yeah, they take better
And-
care of
and-
their pets than themselves. I mean, everything, because
Oh,
it's all the emotional trauma that we have stored up inside of us. We don't feel like we deserve that. And it's all the emotions. But once we learn to release those, then we gain, we lose the fear. You know, once we disconnect from those emotions, we disconnect from the fear of this entire world. You know, because there really isn't anything to fear about. When your time's going to come, it's going to come either way. So you might as well do something you're going to be proud of in this world and do something to help it and assist it, not sit back and cower the entire time and wait to die, you know?
And why is it our time has to come? Why can't it be their time has to come, that they're done, that we reclaim our power and we reclaim everything for us?
Sure.
And that's what it is. This whole battle, it's between, you know, the light and the dark. It's like, well, the dark can't exist without the light.
Yeah.
That's it. So if we're all in this together and they just, you know, selling their soul, selling their collective, their consciousness and their subconscious, that's just for fame, for what? For nothing. It's like,
Yeah.
why?
But that goes back to the manifestation circle as well. That's what I said to Lewis the one day. I said, that makes sense. You know, people are selling their souls. Our manifestations are powered by our soul. When you sell your soul, they're using your soul now to manifest their evil doings. And that's why all these people are continually doing it. They think that they're going to be gratified by fame and fortune, and they find out they're not. You know, they commit suicide at a young age or just go downhill after that. But can you focus too, Jason, real quick on the crystal sun? You know, I've been into sun gazing for a while, but it seems like I know a lot of people have talked that the sun has changed, has in color, but is it still the same sun that I was sun gazing at a couple of years ago?
Well, it's a simulator. That's all it is. It's a solar simulator. They actually have a patent for it. And that's why they change the lights in it. You have a solar warden, they change the lights in it. And all it does is that solar simulator, it helps us because with photosynthesis, you know, and they're like, oh, carbon, they're wanting to take carbon, you know, eliminate carbon. It's like, guys, we're carbon.
Yeah.
They want to eliminate us. I mean, first it's energy, then carbon. It's like, guys, they're trying to kill all of us, but they're doing it in verbiage so that, you know, it's like, people don't look into it. It's like all the sun is, it's a big light. And when that's why we are a commodity and a pollutant in energy. We're a commodity to the Bureau of Land Management, but we're a pollutant to the EPA. So it's like, that should make people think, why are we a commodity to the Bureau of Land Management? Because that's how they are trafficking us. Because they use us for trafficking. A pollutant for the EPA, it's because we inhale our oxygen, we exhale carbon dioxide. And you have to do that because the whole carbon, well, then the carbon dioxide, it goes to the plants. The plants feed out the light. It's simple photosynthesis, simple science. That's all we have to look back on. It's like the sun is just a light.
They must have changed from an incandescent bulb to an LED lately or something.
Well, and the thing is, I mean, remember Bill Gates was talking about dimming the sun. It's like, that's not even our true sun. Our true sun is Alcyon, which is that massive crystal sun. Now, when that's activated, that's why the crystal trees are gone. I mean, all these, like Devil's Tower and all these plateaus are, erosion. It's like,
when we were more silicon based.
It's like, do we really have to listen to this shit again? It's like, you know, how many times are we going to fall for the same story? It's like, when are we going to wise it up?
Yeah.
It's like, come on, guys. Why would they call it Devil's Tower?
Yeah.
Well, that's right.
It's like, if it's a crystal tree stump.
Sure.
Jason, one more question. I know we didn't touch on this yet, but this was the main topic really for the whole, for connecting with you too, is what are your thoughts on how can we regain control of the pyramid energy and use it to our advantage? How can we eliminate the way that they're using it for their manifestations and their evil doings,
Well, we have to wisen up and realize that the pyramids weren't built by a bunch of guys dragging stones across sand. The pyramids were created using vibration, sound, frequency, and levitation, that every one of those bricks, every one of those blocks were put into place perfectly, because there's no way that, because let's face it, we're human beings. There's nothing in perfection that we can make. There's always going to be, there's always a percentage that like a plus minus, like -3 degrees, -3%. Well, when it comes to pyramids, they were, exact. Everything is perfect. Like the blocks are cut perfect. There's no way to put anything between it. And how old are these pyramids? And what's underneath it, like the Sphinx and everything, what's below it. And they weren't tombs. The pyramids are actually their energy,
Right.
and it's like, well, where are the rest of them? Maybe they took the capstones off in order for us to, we have to get ourselves to a specific level, then the capstones will be restored, and then we advance as a civilization.
Well, I know. Oh, go ahead.
Okay, but the knowledge is the true power. It's the knowing. We need to realize that we as humans, we have a power in us that they have taken from us.
Yeah.
And the only way to do it is through knowledge and through understanding that, through programming and broadcasting and this whole TVs and this, that, all this poison that they put into us, even down to the sound, the music, the frequency.
Yeah.
We need to go back to our real frequency, healing frequencies, and how
Get
everything can be built through
outside,
sound.
get outside in nature, walk in the woods, connect to, yes, grounding is very important. And that's why I mentioned the sun to you, because the pyramids are connected to the sun. Every one is either, well, most of the pyramids in the world that they've discovered are connecting energetically to the sun, or they're getting energy from the sun, I apologize. The only one that they found that is actually sending energy out to the sun is the Pyramid of Bosnia. And so this is really cool too. I don't know if you've done any research on the Pyramid of Bosnia, but there's this tunnel system. There's a tunnel system underneath it, and they keep excavating this tunnel, trying to get to underneath the pyramid in the center. Every time they'll come to a 3 doorways. Okay. And then one of those 3 will always take them to a continuation of the tunnel. The other 2 are dead ends. They backfilled these with pea gravel, pretty much, river rock and dirt and stuff like that. So it looks like whoever filled in these tunnels and created the fake tunnels, the faux tunnels there, did it filled them out from the outside in. Like there's a civilization that's living on the inside, beaming this energy to the sun, and someday that we might find them and discover them by continuing to do the excavations. But they did that, filled the tunnels in, trying to prevent people from finding them. But I don't know.
If that isn't exciting, we know that there's worlds below us, below Mount Shasta, and even Admiral Byrd went to them.
Yeah.
And they even said, like, look, you guys' use of atomic energy, that's your downfall.
Yeah. Well, this might be the mother pyramid. If it's sending out the energy that's supposed to be connecting to all the other pyramids, from the sun, amplifying it to the other pyramids, we won't know, but I would be digging a lot faster than they are right now.
Well, the thing is, they're probably digging as fast as the evil ones will allow.
No, I'm sure.
And when there's pyramids underwater. There's pyramids all over the place. But you look at some of these places like Angkor Wat and these massive megaliths. It's like, who constructed these? How? Even down to the pyramids. And when you see what's inside and all the drawings and everything, it's like, guys, we have crayons and like paint and everything. It's like, this has been done for millennia, and it still looks just as good as it was done before. It's like,
Yeah.
there's something we're missing here.
Right.
There's some kind of ancient secret knowledge that has been repressed from us that
Oh,
we're right. I mean, we're right on the brink of getting.
Yep.
And that's the exciting part. Everybody's like all doom and gloom. It's like, guys, when they said the world's about to change, I mean, they didn't say for bad.
Yeah.
It's like everything's getting ready to flip, that
Yeah.
this the world of abundance and knowledge, that we all have this knowledge built into us.
Mhm.
It's just been taken from us or repressed from us through our DNA,
Sure.
through our quote unquote junk DNA.
Yeah.
Now, do you think if the creator created, anything within his image, that they would give it junk DNA?
Yeah, exactly.
What if the image was actually our spirit, soul, and ether, and it wasn't our vehicle?
Right.
And that's it. It's like, it's the breath of life. It is true life,
Sure.
but you're just put in a vehicle. It's like they just throw it in a vehicle and just keep us in this cycle
Hmm.
where it's like you're not going to break out of it. You're not going to break out of it until we all come to the understanding that we're all one, and that we need to make peace with ourselves, forgive everything, and move forward.
And
Because
treat
when people
ourselves
dwell-
right. Treat
Yes.
ourselves good. Treat ourselves like the spark of God that we are, because we are powerful. That's why they're using us,
Yep.
Respect that. Get healthy, take some supplements, cleanse yourself, detox. It's nice to see there's so many people detoxing right now, because that's one of the number one things. Get that sludge out of your body and get it working
Yeah.
properly,
Yep.
That's one of the things the pyramids help with. They
Mhm.
it detoxes people, it realigns your structure and brings you back to the prime, pristine being that you're supposed to be,
A detox is similar to an oil change for your car.
Yeah.
You get an oil change, like it builds up that sludge and everything, and then you have to clean it. Well, what do? You get oil changes for your car. Well, what do you do for your body?
Detox.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's never been a guide that tells us that, because they don't want us to know that.
Yeah.
But you look at all the holistic doctors and everything that have died, not died, they've been murdered,
Yeah.
trying to get us on the healthy way. But it's all the pharmaceutical companies that are like, oh no, we want to keep you poisoned. We have to keep you poisoned.
Well, just look
It's
at
like-
the cancer industry. The three options you have are cut, burn, and poison. This is how we can heal you. We'll either cut it out, burn you, or poison you. Which one of the 3 would you like?
I'm glad you mentioned that, because there's something just before we got on that struck me, that I was watching this thing with about Prince Philip and the Queen and all that Prince Philip stopped living with the Queen at the age of 96. Well, then they turned around and said that the Queen died at the age of 96. Then they said this Queen of Canberra died on the same day as the other Queen at the age of 96. Well, if you look at the symbol of 96, it's a 6 and a 9, all that. But it's like, if you look at the zodiac, what symbol is that? It's Cancer. What if they're the ones that devised cancer? Because we know in the 1970s Defense Appropriations Act that our government created cancer.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm
So it's
100%
like, what if
sure.
they're the ones? Yeah, what if they're the ones who created cancer? But there was a cure. It was ivermectin. Even the NIH, it's in their website.
Yeah, there's been hundreds of cures. They push them all
Yeah.
out because healthy people don't make them money. That's what
Yeah.
I mean. It's this barbaric practice of cut, burn, and poison has been going on for 100 years, and we're supposed
Yep.
to be advanced beings. Like, why do people?
Yeah.
That's what irritates me. Why do people who have been created by God look to man to heal them?
Exactly.
Yeah.
All our healings within.
Yeah.
It's like everything we have is built within. We're it's this whole savior mentality that we have to look on the outside for something to help us.
Right.
We've never grown to actually realize who we are and why we're here.
Yeah.
Once you start going within and realizing that, the whole temple, well, our body's a temple. And once we go in and once we learn how to trust ourselves and believe in ourselves, then you learn to believe in others. And it's like, that's how you get the whole fractals, because in the whole collective, when people sit here and they sell their souls, they're selling their fractal in the collective, and they're replacing it with an evil fractal. That's what they're trying to fix. They're trying to fix this whole collective. It's like, hey, trying to get this poison out of the collective, and trying to fill it back in was like, we got to fix this one more time. Getting all these little ones out of there. It's like these little cancers, it's like parasites. Get them out of the collective so we can become one healthy collective.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
Well, we don't want to keep you all day. We know you're busy. I know you're at Lewis's house and you guys have a party planned today. So there's lots of people flying in. Why don't you just touch on that real quick? Maybe what we can expect in the future and then what you guys are going to be doing in the next month on the Truth Tour.
Well, we're going to travel to 17 cities. And I mean, I know I'm going to learn a lot. And it's more or less like we're all wanting everyone to know that, we're all one as a collective unit. There's nobody that's better or worse than anyone. It's even the ones that come out, watch, even using your thoughts, even just by researching 5 minutes a day or looking at something. I mean, you're putting your energy into something that is on the positive, it's on the positive end. So you are making an attempt, because there's a lot of people that, they have to watch their kids and they feel that they don't have time. It's like, if you put the slightest bit of energy in this, it's like, that's all we want. Because honestly, if it's because you have to watch your kids, we want you to watch your kids, please, because that's what we're doing it for. It's like, if you're watching your kids, we don't have to worry about anybody else taking them. And that's why they promoted women in the workforce and everything like that. They try to do anything they could to have that disconnect between the mother and their child, and saying, oh, look how much money, this and that. It's like they try to dangle that financial carrot in front of us. It's like, ain't gonna work anymore. Because if we're in a land of abundance, we don't need that money.
Yeah.
Give us the technologies, give us the healing.
Yeah.
That'd be nice.
Every one of you guys, when Charlie and I were on the Truth Tour 1 with you guys, we didn't get to meet you. We will someday, I'm sure. I think Charlie will get to meet you in New Jersey. I probably won't be able to go, but everybody is so approachable and genuine and kind and loving. That alone just proved there's no egos. That's what Lewis even said. I remember during a couple of the presentations at the Truth Tour, he started out with, leave your ego at the door because it's not welcome here. And that's so true.
And that's it. Just get rid of it. It's like, the whole ego. I mean, your ego and your skepticism is your antichrist, because it's preventing your advancement within yourself. Because whenever you're doubting yourself, you're doubting your capability, your true abilities.
Yeah. And I always tell people that. I teach them that, how to trust your intuition. That very first thing that pops into your head is always the truth. It always is the truth. But then our ego jumps in and questions it and says, oh, well, it can't be that answer because this happened to us before, or it can't be that simple. So let's choose this answer. And we always go with the ego-based one. So it's hard for people to trust their intuition, but that's how simple it is. You know the answer for everything. You just need to trust it.
And the thing is that I think that's why they suppress the women so much, is because the women actually have that true intuition. Because they know exactly what their kids doing at all times. Yeah. It's like, I know my kid's screwing something up right now. It's like, yep. It's like, how'd you know? It's like icing back here. It's like, it's icing back here. It's like, nope. It's like, because the Russians have even done tests on it with rabbits. That, if they know, then we know. Well, why are they so hell bent on keeping women suppressed? It's all patriarchy. It's like everybody's like, oh, the father. It's like, what about mother?
But if you look at the ancient Egyptians, all the statues of the pharaohs have the woman right beside them with her arm around him. They ruled together as one. He didn't do it alone. But that's what we need, I think, in this world. We don't need one ruler, we need a duality ruling. Our leader needs to be male and female, one of each for that they all think differently. We all think differently, and we have good aspects to each of us. So.
And also, what do they say? They say, oh, behind every good man is a good woman. It's like, what are you behind?
Yeah.
Be behind him. It's like, you might want to be on the side.
Yeah.
Or sometimes, I even tell people, I'm like, let's face it, man. This, and I don't speak for all the men, but it's like, we fucked up enough. It's like, I think we have to give it to the women. It's like, hey, you know what? Hey, can you fix this? It's like, let's face it. Whenever any of us scraped our elbows or anything when we were kids, who do you scream for? You don't scream for dad, you scream for mom. And
Yeah.
mom's always there to help you. It's like, that's why this whole,
The women
the
are the
whole-
healers of the world, you know?
they're the true creators.
Mhm.
Sure.
And that's what, and they look, creation. It's like, man, and even down to the calendars. That's why we have to go back to the 13 moon calendar. Because it's a 28-day, it's all about the menstrual cycle of the female. It's a 28-day cycle. But what they do, they started adding these extra days. It started screwing with everything.
Yeah.
And then what they do, they're like, oh yeah, abortion. Yeah. Well, it's your right. It's your right. It's like,
Mhm.
you do understand there's like so many different steps you could take before.
Yeah, just help us with
Yeah.
our satanic agenda and our
Yeah.
child sacrifices, please.
Yeah. How about
Good Lord.
responsibility? But they want to take responsibility away from us. They say, oh, just blame them. It's their fault. It's like nobody takes, even if you didn't do it, hey, take responsibility. You didn't do it, but it's like, look, instead of pointing fingers, just say, hey, here's the problem we had. Here's how we're going to solution and come up with a solution to the problem. And we could collectively do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. One last question I've got before we let you go, and then we'll call it a day. I have a feeling that Ukraine, the reason why Ukraine is important in our society today and the events are going on really have so much to do with history and the significant history of that region, the Khazarian mafia. This is not my area of expertise. There was actually a Russian pyramid on the Maidan during the coup in 2014. It was programmed to incite violence and rioting and so forth. So a lot of the Russian pyramid research was done right there in Kiev. So I'm just wondering, have you looked at kind of the historical significance of Ukraine and its relevance to what's going on today? That's
big time. Big time. What they were trying to do is they're trying to build a second Israel in Ukraine for the Ashkenazis, the Khazarians, the Scythian barbarians, and all that. And why it's so big now is that, number one, America built how many? They're building bioweapon labs in Ukraine. And that's what they were doing first off. But then that is the whole Israel, because the Hebrew Blood Alliance and the Satanic Illuminati and everything that we were hijacked about like 4,000 years ago by the Markabians. And the Markabians are like these evil humanoids and everything. And that's why we have all this. It's like a Babylonian secret Satanism. Because with the Babylonians and we have like with the Jews and everything, they go off a different calendar than we do. We run off a solar calendar. They go off a lunar calendar because their Sabbath runs from Friday night to Saturday night. So everything's at night. So that's why they have so many more holidays. Everything happens at sundown. Well, why does it happen at sundown? I mean, everything is in the darkness of night, and it's evil. And that's why the Israel where Israel is now, that's not even the real Israel. That's the true Holy Land is in Moscow. Because the MS-13 that they refer to, that they say that we don't know, it's going to be Moscow, Sergiv, Posad, and it's 13. There are 12 Earth chakras, and the first one is in Mount Shasta. The second one is Lake Titicaca, and they have 12 of them. And when they're all 12 are healthy, the 13th one opens up, and that's the one right over Moscow. There's actually a map on Scribe that did this, that it told us where everything was. And they talk about the two serpents, the rainbow serpent and the feather plume serpent. And they run through each one of these. And when you put it outside, it's our DNA. That's all it is. So once all 12 are healthy, 13th one opens up. And then that's it. We go home.
Wow. Amazing.
But that's the thing. I mean, this is all back in the year 980 AD when Prince Vladimir the Great went to the Ukraine, and he started, they're like, look, because from the Silk Road to Europe, they were assaulting, killing, eating, and all this, cannibalizing, people that were traveling the Silk Road, the Scythian barbarians, the Ashkenazi Jews, and the Khazarians. So Prince Vladimir the Great came down in the year 980. He's like, look, 3 religions. You've got Christianity, Islam, and Judaism. Pick one of them, have your people do it so we can stop this, so we can all become one. Well, they picked Judaism because there are so many different hidden facets to it. So that's how they become the Jews. That's how Judaism became so relevant to being on the evil, because they took it and they hijacked it. They hijack everything. Because at first it was good, but now it's bad. Because you had the Torah, now you have the Talmud. And everything in America is based off the Babylonian Talmudic system.
Okay.
That's where we get the whole transhumanism. And there's 8 genders to the Talmud. You have you're born a boy, and then you transition to a woman by natural or human intervention. It's like, what?
I saw you posted that. Was it on your Facebook page?
Yep. Yeah. And once you start fighting, it's like, holy shit, they're not going to believe this. It's like, but we have the documentation, and it makes sense. It's like, where did all this come from? I mean, even down to 9/11. It's a nuclear war. You had towers 1, 2, and 7. 1 and 2 are the mother and father. Tower 7 is the child. You tore down all 3, and you put up 1 tower for transhumanism and androgyny. And what they put in its place? 2 black cubes in the ground.
Yeah.
It's you're worshiping Saturnalia. Because all around it, they put the names of everybody that died. So when you walk around and read the names, you're actually giving power to Saturnalia.
Wow.
They're evil.
That's
but it's all coming to an end now.
Yeah, so many of us have been participating unknowingly in their satanic
Unknowingly.
practices for years. They have been using us to manifest their reality for years. I mean, this hasn't been going on just in our lifetime.
Millennia.
It's been going on. Yes, millennia. We are way older. This earth is way older than we're told. Things are way older than we've been told. It's just everything has been a lie. So people need to just erase what they've learned and start over anew and start researching and sharing what they're learning with people. Whether it seems crazy or not, we are in crazy times right now. So that's what I say. I don't care how crazy I seem. I'm going to talk about the stuff that I'm learning till the day I die. So
that's it. Well, because it's documented. I mean, what are we supposed to do? I mean, if it's all hidden from us and they're starting to release the documentation, maybe that they talk about declass, and well, maybe a lot of it we're actually declassing ourselves because we're actually finding the knowledge, and knowledge is power. And if we have to gain our own power, but we have to level with ourselves and understand that we've all been lied to about everything.
Well, even just the searchers, just looking for information. When you use Google and Bing and Yahoo, those are all run by the United States. They block the information that they don't want you to know about. Even though it says www, World Wide Web, you're not connecting to the World Wide Web. You need to use a proxy search engine. Like a lot of people used to use DuckDuckGo, but it's been infiltrated from what I understand now. So I use Yandex or Brave browser. Those are 2 good ones for now. And then where do you get most of your information from, Jason?
Well, from Scribed, and because they put all the documentation on there under documents, and you just said it right there with Yandex. It's like, see,
Russian.
Who controls it? Russian. And then when we look at with the World Wide Web, well, where was that created? CERN. And CERN, and from the CIA headquarters, there's actually 2 secret entrances to CERN. And it's all run by the Jesuits.
Wow.
Everything's run by the Jesuits and Switzerland and Rome, and it's all got to come down. Every bit of it.
Well, my goodness, if people would just go and look at the opening ceremony of CERN, I think they would think there's some evil doings happening on this planet.
Yes,
I mean, you can watch a horror movie all you want, but when you watch it, you're like, what the hell? And there's people doing this. It's like, what?
Yes.
Even the opening ceremonies for the Olympics, when they had all those hospital beds and everything like that, and the baby, I'm like.
Yeah, that was in 2015, I think, wasn't it?
That was in London, wasn't it, I believe?
2015 or 16. Yeah.
And it's like, just, I mean, how it's all getting shown to us, all that in the open. It's like, and there's some people that actually, they're cheering on. It's like, I don't think these people know what they're watching.
No. That's what I mean. Nobody knows what we're doing. Nobody knows what we're doing, but we have been participating in evil satanic ceremonies our entire lives unknowingly.
And we get stopped.
It's not our fault, but when
Yep.
you realize that you have power and you can step out of it, that's what we all need to do and come together as a
That's it.
collective, you know. But there's
Just
still going to
because
be
we-
family sleeping.
Just because we did it doesn't mean that we have to continue doing it.
That's right.
I mean, even look at Disney. Disney's going down bad.
Yeah.
It's like good because
Yeah.
it's all evil.
We're getting best adult dating sites now on our comments.
Oh,
so I think
that's
time to
yeah,
go. So.
Yep, we always get those. Like, oh, here we go. Here come the bots. Here come man.
Well, thanks so much, Jason. It was great to
Thank you
have
so
you
much.
on. Lots of love to
Definitely.
you, and
Yep.
we'll get together
you guys
again
too.
soon. We could talk all day.
Definitely.
I'm sure.
Definitely, and we could do it on tour and everything like that because then we could drink loose and we could just have a big, all of us sitting around
Yeah.
and I'll be seeing Charlie in New Jersey.
Yep.
And yeah, if you can, I'll send you my other email that I have, or you can text me the PDF and I'll print it up here at his house. And
Oh, sure.
I'll read
You
it.
can read it on your Kindle reader too.
yeah, I don't have a Kindle. I just have an iPhone. And
Oh, okay.
what I do is I like printing it up because I'll highlight. Because I highlight it because for some reason when I use highlighters, I actually I absorb it because for every color there is, like for blues, I've used dates, people orange, places yellow and all that. And how many colors there are, that's how many times you had to read that document. So it's like, that's how they're like, how do you remember all that? It's like by the highlighters.
Okay.
And I was never like that before. I was like, how's this? But
Well, I'll
some
send
kind
you
of
the-
divine.
I'll send you the PDF, but I will also bring you a hard copy.
Sweet. Thank you so
to New
much.
Jersey. Yeah.
Yes.
Not a problem. Okay.
Awesome.
Lots of love to you, and good luck.
Thank you
on the
guys so
trip.
much. Love you guys. Thank you so
All
much.
right. Take care, Jason. Thank you
You
again.
bet. Thank you.